will have our first speaker, Ryan Tuttle. Ryan's going through the CC manual for his second time. The title of his speech is Family, Fireworks, and a Flood. His objective is to practice thinking on his feet for an extended period of time. The time is, who is our timer again? Brian?
Brian. We're going to go back to the timer's table?
The time of his speech is 5 to 7 minutes. And he's speaking kind of spontaneously, too.
It's way spontaneous. I can give you this.
Yeah, that's his name again.
I'll try to back this one.
It's right here. Oh.
This is Brian Tuttle working on
Brian.
working on his confident communicator.
What month is this?
Please help me welcome Mr. Ryan Tuttle.
Sometimes the only way to go through life and experience life is to get wet. I want to share with you some of my experiences that I had over this past 4th of July weekend. This will be kind of an audio journal, if you will, because it's very spontaneous, as Susan mentioned. So I'm hoping to share with you some of these experiences and why you just sometimes need to get wet. My family and I journeyed on Friday afternoon up to the Hayuentas, to Christmas Meadows. Has anyone ever heard of Christmas Meadows? Great. I have never been there. It was my first time traveling to Christmas Meadows in the Hayuentas. You pass Mirror Lake, you pass Lily Lake, and you go up, and it's nestled in the valley underneath these beautiful mountains. And our family is not much campers. So this was our first attempt at primitive camping. My friend had a cabin with one toilet, no hot water, unless you wanted to start up the coal stove and heat the water. So that was kind of easing into our full camping experience. In the Christmas Meadows, there's this beautiful river that runs through the valley. And they have a canoe that my kids were excited to jump in and try their hand at this canoe. They were very vehement about this experience. So you can imagine the pride of fatherhood when I took my 2 young children. I have 4. My 2 girls are 10 and 8. And they said, "Dad, we want to see if we can handle the canoe all by ourselves." I said, "Okay, no better time to learn than to do it yourself." So they hopped into the canoe. I gave them their oars, and with a little bit of hesitation, I pushed them into the river. They went out peacefully, and they started to row and paddle, and they were really doing quite well, when my youngest daughter dropped her oar in the river. Now, she was the strong rower of the 2, and so my other daughter was really nervous and didn't know what to do, and here I am, the father, on the side of the bank, watching the oar and my daughters go gently down the river. I tried to instruct them, row as fast as you can and try to reach in and grab the oar, but they were too afraid to do that. So here I am running along the bank, trying to figure out how am I going to get this oar to the side of the bank. Nature has a rule. If you drop the oar in the middle of the river, it stays in the middle of the river. And so I finally realized the only way I'm going to get this oar is if I jump in and get wet. And that's exactly what I did. So I jumped in, grabbed the oar, to the clapping and hooray for my children, and got wet. Great way to experience life. We also went to Evanston, Wyoming to watch a fireworks show. Anybody been to Evanston, Wyoming to watch a fireworks show? That is an amazing experience. That's where we go to buy illegal fireworks. Utahns, not me speaking, but that's where Utahns go. So you can imagine in Evanston where these fireworks are legal to purchase. And it was a spectacular show. There were fireworks, the pre-fireworks show was just as good as the real fireworks show. They shoot the fireworks off of this hill that is right in front of the freeway. So you have the fireworks coming up, you have the freeway of diesel trucks going by, and it was an amazing experience. In fact, it was so spectacular that the hill caught on fire. True story. But much to the faithfulness or the strength of those Wyoming cowboys, they kept the fireworks show going and put out the fire and let the show go on. So like I said, sometimes you have to get wet in life, and you might as well put out the fires and let the show go on. And so that's what I learned from Wyoming fireworks. As we drove home yesterday, basking in the glory of our successful vacation and the lessons learned, we went home and I made my usual inspection, making sure everything was okay. When much to my surprise, I heard a hose running. And one of the neighbor kids or somebody must have grabbed a hose and put it on the side of our house and left it running. And it filled up the window well with water. So I run downstairs, and sure enough, our basement is completely flooded. So sometimes in life, you just have to get wet. Either jumping in the river to grab an oar, put out a fire on the hill with the fireworks show, or clean up your basement from a flood.